Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So, welcome all of you to the emotional week of Capricorn, if such a thing exists. So, as everyone starts to connect, um, I will begin to explain a little bit about what is this week. So, as we have seen during this week, we have noticed that Capricorn is about structures, about work, about patterns, um, and this is why, regarding the emotional way in which Capricorn see things, we will go into the links, the bounds, the relationships that we have with people, but related to how we use those links with people. So, as we have seen during the week of the mind, how do we use the universal patterns, the universal laws? In this week, we will see how we use the emotional links we have with others. So those who we have a lot of Capricorn energy in our charts, astrological charts, we sometimes can be perceived by others like if we are using the people in order to accomplish our goals in life. As also, from our point of view, we can think that we are being used by people too. It's everything about what do we do with the things. Usually when someone that has a Capricorn sun, moon in Capricorn, or rising in Capricorn, one of the main questions that we ask ourselves when we start a relationship or an emotional link with somebody, the first question would be like, what is this going to be useful for? So usually, of course, this is really difficult for the water signs to understand, that they think that a Capricorn person would be using them emotionally, but it's not like this from a Capricorn point of view. From the Capricorn point of view, to have a relationship with someone is about to do something. Is about, okay, let's begin something. We have something to do. We have a project to do, and I would love to share this with you. So the way in which a Capricorn relate to another person is always thinking about what is the job, the work that we have to do together. So don't take it as something bad from the point of view, from another point of view. It's the way Capricorn people love. So let's go to the beginning of this emotional week as always, beginning by the crown chakra. Um, and we will begin with this kind of the idea of the emotional point of view. Um, which is reason, to have reason. So let's go into this. What reason means and why we are going to work with it in the emotional week. Etymology of reason. Reason comes from the word, the Latin word redis, that means thought, and the word tio, that means action. So reditio, ratio means reason, and this tio turns into an s in English, so reason. So reason means the action of thinking. So we are going to relate the action of reason of reason with the idea of creating, being able to generate thoughts. So remember that the first week we were working with the mentalism this day, the crown chakra day, because everything in the beginning is related to thinking, to the main thought, to the world of ideas, the mentalism, the mind. So if everything begins by there, this means that after that, when we take action through the thinking, is the moment when we are going to activate the reasoning. So to be able to have to listen, to think properly. But then, as we have been seeing every day, the other laws emerges: correspondence, vibration, rhythm, and so on. So all the rest of the things that appear in the universe are just projections, distortions of the main idea. So this is how reason will also become another pattern, will become another distortion. So it means that as many more minds are thinking, much more distortion in the way in which we think, so many more ways of reason. And this is why through time, the reason becomes only one other way to interpret the world outside. And remember that the reason why the universe does this is because it is willing to have many other options to perceive itself from different point of views. It's all about to learn. But remember that this reason, the mentalism, the mind of the universe, is divided in three different perceptions that we call subconscious, unconscious, and the conscious. This means that we have three different ways of reason, of think. One in the subconscious, the other one in unconscious, the other one in conscious. And if I am not being able to think by the conscious way, I will be ruled by the reason of my unconscious. And if I am not even moved by the reason of the unconscious, I will be ruled by the reason of the subconscious. So the reason of the subconscious is ruled by the inner brain that in biology they call the reptilian brain, which is the ancient one that is working with the impulses of survival. So, for example, you are moved by the reason of being hungry, of the reason of willing to reproduce, or because you are afraid, you have a cold, whatever. So there is one type of reasoning that is related with the subconscious, with the biology, and it's all related with the survival. So there's the other way of reasoning, which is the unconscious. The unconscious is the one that shows me that I am moved by the mind of a group, like a whole group of people, like philosophy, religion, and culture, politics, whatever. A group that is thinking something, and because I want to belong to that group, I kind of follow the same ideas or patterns. Okay, so the same thoughts. So that's the reasoning in a group, and this is not a bad thing. This is just a thing. Okay, like for example, here we are together, 3,000 to 4,000 people, to understand that to be part of something. Okay, and we all do the alignments and etc. So we are moved by the unconscious too when we are doing this together. The ideas that we share all together. And then we have the conscious reasoning, which is the question, to question everything and to realize that there is no real answer, that the real answer is that we are all trying to learn something new. So the conscious one is the individual that never stops wondering and looking for new options, because it knows that the only way you can reason is by questioning, by wondering, learning. So the goal is not to just reason by the conscious way, because if we only take the reason of the conscious way, we're not going to be able to be a social being, speaking with others, sharing with others. Like, for example, if you are only conscious the way you think, so you become like a hermit. Like you go to a cave, like a philosopher, and you cannot have relation, or you cannot be in touch with anyone because you have not how to do it. Okay, so you need the unconscious way of thinking in order to be able to communicate with others and to live in a society. And of course that without a subconscious way of reasoning, we would be all dead, because is the subconscious the one that says that can kill you, be careful, you can burn, you can fall down, I'm hungry. um, so without that way of thinking, we would have to die, all of us, before we are 5 years old. So this is not about, as you see, this is not about being only conscious. Our goal is not to be conscious. Our goal is to have balance in between the three ways of consciousness, because this trinity that work all together, subconscious, unconscious, and the conscious, both the three of them creates the super consciousness. The super consciousness is the one that embodies the whole thing, like a being. Like we have a body, a soul, and a mind, a spirit. As humans, the universe has these three that are together, this super consciousness. So this is what we are trying to achieve, not to go away from the subconscious, not to take away the unconscious, but to be all together as one. In our humanity, once we said all this, in our humanity, we are living right now the subconscious way of thinking, which means that we are afraid of everything, we don't want to die, and so on. So that's the main thing, the survival. And because of this, in order to survive, humans had to live for living in clans and tribes, in groups, so they can have much more opportunities to survive. And because of this, we all live through the unconscious way of thinking. So the way we reason in our lives is through the group's way of thinking. So one that accomplished to be aware, to become conscious about everything, is the one that realized by watching the unconsciousness from the outside that everything that I before thought it was right, that I was right, that my reason was the best one, suddenly the conscious one says, oh, no, I was not right. I was never right. So here is when the sentence, the very known sentence, I don't know how to say in English, but I guess it is, all I know is that I know anything, or I know nothing. I don't know how you say it in English. So why the one that is becoming conscious about the universe set itself free from all reasons that it could have? The reason why someone that becomes conscious, aware, set itself free from all reasons, believing that is right, is because someone that is aware recognize that you cannot be right, that you cannot have any reason for yourself. Because reason is just an idea, a perception. So you cannot hold it. So there is only one answer to this, which is I am the reason. We live in a world controlled by the subconscious and the unconscious. And this is why we are all the time fighting, trying to see who has the reason, who is right, who is not. And this is a way of thinking that is very mental, that is from the mind, not useful for Capricorn. So the reason comes from the idea of mind, of ideas. So it's also imagination. So it's impossible to lock this idea because it's free. It's impossible to make it logic. So this makes us know that we can't be right in anything. It's impossible. And painfully, the reason is the main tool for ego to survive in the emotional level. So the reason is because the ego is the one that is trying to help us survive. Is the one that tries to teach us, help us to live. A person that have no chance to believe in anything that it can see or perceive and feel gets crazy, gets like can't understand anything. So that's why the ego says, don't worry, everything that I am perceiving, everything that I am feeling is right. So believe me, I am right. This is why the ego creates the idea of being right in reason to give security, emotional security to a person. So in order to use the right reason, we have to go to the origin of the mind of the universe. What was the first reason ever? The first reason ever was to open the mind to every possibility. To every possibility. Not to close yourself to only one possibility. This is why the way in which we can begin to be aligned with the first reason of the universe is if we open ourselves to many possibilities and not to close ourselves to only one. No one is right. No one has the reason. But we all are the reason. This is why this is the first spot and concept of the emotional, because everything that I feel comes from the perception of the mind. So whatever I am feeling, usually I perceive it from the point of view of I am right. This is my reason. So I will read the three questions that we have to write down today in order to answer ourselves. Um, but I would recommend you to read the blog for today so you can um, have it a bigger idea. And you have to choose your language. So reason. The questions are, what is the reason of your being? What are the things in which you think you're right and others aren't? What happened what happened if you know if some, you know that you are not right? What would you think? What would you feel? All related to what I feel, not what I do after. If I apologize, if I no, everything related to what you perceive and feel within. And of course, that for some people, the question would be, why do you think that you don't have, that you are not right? Let's go to information for today. The vibration for today is Ba. The statement for today is, I am the spirit's home. The code for today is freedom. From the cosmic heart, one of the keys is the ability to eternally express without any limits other than those that we create ourselves. It's a constant call to search for freedom, which is acquired by becoming the creator of our own reality. Unconditionally, freedom implies not only being free, but letting others to be free. Equally those that I hate and those that I love. Be and let be. We begin. The idea is for you to focus in what are you feeling, not what I am feeling. Close our eyes. Take deep breath and focus in your breathing. As you start to position your body in a comfortable position. I become aware of the environment I find myself in. I begin to imagine that all this space that I am in starts to get darker in shadows. More and more, which with every deep breath, until I can perceive everything around me, like the darkest night, and I can even perceive the stars in the sky. In front of me, I can perceive a, a light, a warm light that starts to shine on me until I realize that it is a fire. As I see the fire, I recognize that I find myself in a circle with other people. We are all below the stars, surrounding a fire. And as I perceive this new environment, I just watch the light of the fire, of the flames, dancing like a snake. Breathe. I can feel the heat of this fire in my face, in my hands, on my chest. I start to watch around and to see the faces and the chest of the other people in the circle around fire. They are all here related to my reason. They all are linked to me by the reason of my being. They all represent my feelings regarding when I was right and in what I am wrong. All of them representing my beliefs of my own reason. Without judging, what you see. Allow yourself to see the faces of these people, even if they are only 3 or 20. You are all connected in this ceremony, this ancient ceremony around the fire. In the center, the fire represents the reason. And I recognize now that any one of them, neither me, has the reason, but they are all lighted by them. They are all shining because of it. I observe that each one of them, of us, are observing the reason from a different point of view. And I feel that if I open myself, my own heart, to perceive the heat of this fire, I am also gonna be able to open myself to all the possible reasons. I recognize that this circle around the fire was the first home, the place where I found the first reason. This is the home of my spirit, and I expand my reason through my vibration. I am the spirit's home. I am the spirit's home. I am the spirit's home. And this is why the reason inhabits me, for I am the reason. I breathe the heat of the fire, and with my hands, I take it to my heart. Take a deep breath and recognize this home within me. Take a deep breath, and each one at its own time, come back here and now. Thank you, everybody, for being there. And as always, see you tomorrow at the same time.